This beautiful four-sided brick home with 3 fireplaces, travertine, stone, hardwood, and tile floors, several elegant decorator upgrades, a fenced backyard, a level driveway with a 3-car side entry garage, is located on a lovely cul-de-sac lot within a wonderful swim and tennis community.
I think there's definitely a misconception about bigger is better. Bigger is not better. And if you took sustainability to the end point, you just wouldn't build anything. So anytime you can build something smaller that's tailored exactly to your needs, it's going to be better. You're spending less of the Earth's resources building it, and you're using up less of the resources of cooling and heating and maintaining it. Okay. I am a CPA by background. And as I tell everybody, my CPA stands for Can't Pass Again. I have wanted to build houses since I was 5 years old, and when I turned 40 in 1991, I decided I was going to go build houses. And I didn't know the first thing about what to do, so I did not grow up in the traditional house building kind of a situation where, you know, oh well, you were a carpenter and then you were this and then you were that. So I had no on-the-job experience. So my first project that I did, I hired an architect, and then a friend of mine who is a builder kind of would be my sounding board and help me with different questions and things, and that's really how I got started.
How did I get here? I'm an architect. I'm from Dallas. I was born in Texas. I was raised in Irving and grew up there. So I've always, except for 4 years in New York, been an architect here in this area, North Texas. And we're a diverse firm. We do a little bit of everything, probably one of the last of the generalists. But increasingly, we're doing more and more sustainable projects, areas that are sort of on the leading edge of sustainability. Some work at Urban Reserve, but elsewhere. And that's just been a natural evolution for us. Everyone's doing that. But it's been I'm surprised at how much of our work that's become. And I don't want to say they're green buildings, they're just buildings that have an awareness of the environment and trying to perform efficiently in them.
We came in with, hey, this is who we are, this is how we like to do things, and we got to then craft this project to fit things that we really believed in. And the sustainability was something that was very important to us, as well as creating a community as opposed to a subdivision. I thought that was a big benefit, being close to the light rail. And we're in Richardson School District, which is a plum, to be inside the loop being LBJ in Dallas, Texas, and to have Richardson Schools is, I think, a big benefit.
One of the other benefits was proximity to the creek and the trail, the Upper White Rock Creek Bike and Hike Trail. A lot of the people here are bicyclists and joggers and the like, so none of that was really a criteria, but it was
just all made sense for us.
Yeah, it was good.
One of the things that we do here that I'm unaware of anybody else doing, and that is all of our houses are LEED certified. So we start out at the very beginning with the LEED checklist of, hey, here's what it takes to, this is an actual verifiable third-party scoring mechanism, so that you don't just fall in love with one product and one sales pitch. The LEED program gets down to a set of points, and from those set of points, it's how did you rank against other houses. So I think the LEED, that checklist, helps us keep things very much in proportion.
Well, LEED's a much more comprehensive approach. The government primarily concentrates on energy and maybe water use, particularly energy. And those are both important components of LEED. But LEED also looks at recycled materials, indoor air quality,
landscaping,
the species, how much water it uses.
Proximity to public transportation. It's a very holistic approach,
right?
Which to me makes a whole lot more sense than just saying, hey, we're Energy Star. All of our houses are Energy Star because it's a small subset of being LEED certified.
That's right. But The big impact that a subdivision has is on water quality. You know, we have water comes off the roofs, it falls in the yards, it falls in the street, it runs down into our creeks and then into our lakes or into our rivers and then ultimately into the Gulf. So we really took that on real serious, working with Kevin Sloan, the landscape architect, and Jim Riley, our civil engineer, and Diane and I, to figure out a way to make the runoff, the water that runs out of here, less of an impact. And that really came down to the street, you know, which is all concrete. We first made the street narrower than a standard City of Dallas street. The city was very cooperative on that. It meets the code, the requirements of the fire department. But most city streets are way wider than they really have to be, for whatever reason.
Less impervious space is a big deal.
Exactly.
Less impervious space is less runoff.
Right.
The other thing about the concrete is concrete adds to the heat island effect. And it doesn't take a genius to look at the weather maps at night and go, gosh, it's 2 degrees hotter in Dallas than it is if you go just north of Dallas a little bit.
Part of the world here in North Texas, we can get almost all of our building materials, sheetrock, brick, concrete, timber, locally. I mean, within the 500-mile radius. That's just not hard, so that doesn't really come into it.
You know, lighting in and of itself has done a pretty good job about being sustainable. Now, I think that there's a lot to be improved upon. So I haven't really pushed people too much to LEDs.
There are a lot of the people out here, a lot of the homeowners are art collectors. I mean, you see that here, but a lot of them are. And there's just generally not an acceptance of compact fluorescence or even LEDs for the color rendition, exactly. So I'd say most of the houses are still lit predominantly with halogen.
I think so too.
Yeah, probably.
But that's where the lead comes in.
Exactly.
You know, it's not like, you know, you don't have to go and be, well, I'm going to be absolutely the best, most sustainable in every category. It's like pick and choose what's important to you, and I think that makes it a much better thing to live with, much easier to live with.
Doing a project recently for the City of Dallas, and they wanted to do a gray water system in it. And they sort of tripped over their own code because we wanted to take air conditioning condensate and use it to flush the toilets, basically. Well, the code said you can use gray water to flush the toilets. Well, technically condensate is not gray water, so it couldn't be done. Well, we worked a little bit and they all said, this is stupid, this is what we want to do, let us figure it out. And in about a week we got a ruling, got a letter in our hand that said, from now on, condensate's considered gray water, basically. We got our first set of photovoltaic panels on 43, so you go down to 40. Where they take light and produce electricity out of them. Yeah.
It's the thing that really makes sense today is that you take the panels, you're generating power during the day and selling it back to the power company, and then at night when there's no sun you're buying it back, but that's also a time of low demand for the power companies. Finally got down to what we've ended up with, which is a rain garden system. We were all sitting around one night thinking, hey man, we're just brilliant. We've dreamed up rain gardens. And then the next week I did an internet research and they already had them in Baltimore, Maryland. We just thought, hey, we'd had this great idea. And I think in reality what we had was a great implementation of an idea that had already been kind of fleshed out. But
Well, it was actually a relief to me to see that we weren't just completely
nuts.
Yeah, that we weren't just making this stuff up. I mean, it seemed to be a logical thing to do, and we did it in a very logical fashion.
I foresee a day when you've got two houses on the market for the same amount of money, and one of them's 3,000 feet and the other one's 2,500. And somebody says, you know, I'd rather have the house for 2,500 feet, even though it's the same money, because it's a better performing house.
We went to the assistant city manager, said, we have something we want to show you. We think you're going to be interested. And she was very open-minded about it. She said, this is exactly what we're trying to do with the city. It's our development. And she contacted each of the departments on our behalf and said, cooperate with these guys.
Stage we were met with, let's see how we can figure this out.